I'm gonna show you how to make a healthy caramel apple. So first things first, we are taking some plastic wrap and we're just gonna lay that flat on our counter. Next, you're gonna wanna take some medjool dates. These are my favorite dates. I highly recommend using these ones because they're softer and sweeter. So I'm just gonna line these up. We're gonna do 3. I already removed the pits from these, so make sure your dates do not have any pits, and if they do, just make sure to remove them. So I'm just lining these up, making sure that they are all touching. I'm gonna try to move quick because I know this part's a little bit boring. Some of you guys say my videos are too long, but I just wanna make sure I explain everything in depth. Okay, that looks good. Next, you're gonna take a piece of parchment paper and just place that right on top of your dates and kind of press down like this. And then you're gonna take a rolling pin and you're just gonna start gently, but you're gonna start rolling these out. And we wanna roll them until they're super flat because this is gonna create our caramel layer for our caramel apple. So I'm just gently rolling it out. You can see how flat that got right there. And we want to make all of the dates look like that, especially because I have a big apple today. So we want to have enough dates to cover the entire apple. You can kind of just also take your rolling pin and press down and then keep rolling, but you get the idea. So I will fast forward through the rest of this. Okay, so this is about what we're looking for. And I'm just gonna very carefully pull back the parchment paper. There we go. It's a little bit finicky at first, but you just wanna try to keep all of the dates on the plastic wrap, or as much as possible. Okay, now we have our caramel layer. So you're gonna take your apple and just place it right on top. And then you're gonna take your plastic and just kind of fold it up onto the apple to try to make it stick onto the apple. So this is kind of what you're looking for here. Okay, so this is what you're looking for. As you can see, that does look like caramel. This part is also a little bit finicky, but you just kind of gotta stick with it. You wanna just pull off the plastic, but try to make sure you're leaving as much of the dates as possible on the apple. It's okay if it's not perfectly covered because we do have another step after this. Okay, and then from here you can kind of just go in and press down the dates anywhere that you need. Like I said, it's okay if you're missing some spots, but you can kind of just press it down a little bit and then we will get started on our next step. Okay, so we have our caramel apple. The next steps are we are taking some melted chocolate, of course. I have a bag with some peanuts here that I already started to crush up, but I'll show you how I'm doing it, and a popsicle stick. I just bought like a ton of these on Amazon and I use them for other recipes, but you could also use like a chopstick if you don't have a popsicle stick or whatever you want. You can be creative, but we're just gonna kind of gently press this into our apple. There we go. And then I'm gonna take my peanuts so that they're nice and ready. And I just have a wooden spoon and I'm kind of just crushing them up this way. I think this is easier than slicing them up. It's a little bit less of a mess. Okay, then I'm just gonna go ahead and pour these onto my plate. Perfect. And now I'm gonna take my apple and you can kind of, I wish I had a smaller apple because it makes it a little harder to dip. So I'm just gonna kind of pour my chocolate on top and just kind of spread it around. And again, this does not need to be perfect. We're gonna add the peanuts so that will kind of hide any imperfections. But at the end of the day, it's more about how it tastes, right? And let me just tell you, I have made this a few times. I don't want to spoil it for the taste test, but you're never going to want to eat a regular caramel apple again, especially when you find out the ingredients that are in a caramel apple at the store. It is not good. So to keep this recipe healthier, you can use dark chocolate, but honestly, this is such an healthier version of a caramel apple anyway, using any kind of chocolate is gonna be much better than anything you'll find at the store. Okay, look at how good that looks. Made a little bit of a mess with my chocolate, but what can you do? Now we're gonna go over here to our peanuts, and I'm just gonna sprinkle these right on top. How good does this look? You can also let the chocolate set a little bit before adding your peanuts if you want it to be a little bit less messy, but we're over here embracing the mess because sometimes that's what you have to do in the kitchen. All right, that looks perfect. I'm gonna set this back on my plate with parchment paper. Guys, look at how beautiful this is. I don't know why, but I am just like so proud of this. Doesn't that look like a caramel apple that you would buy at the store, like one of those fancy ones? And somehow it's healthy, made with simple ingredients, and you made it right here at home without even turning your stove on, because homemade caramel is kind of difficult to make. Anyways, we're gonna set this in the freezer. Not for long, maybe just for like 10 minutes or so, or you could set it in the fridge for like an hour. We just want that chocolate to set before we slice it open. So I'm gonna stick this in the freezer and we'll come back in about 10 minutes. Okay, we have our caramel apple. I'm just gonna transfer it to a cutting board. It was in the freezer for like 10-ish minutes or so. And look at how good this looks, you guys. I don't know why, but I am always so proud of this recipe every time I make it. I didn't come up with this recipe, to be completely transparent. I saw someone else make it on online and it went viral, and then I tried it. But I'm just proud of myself for recreating it because I feel like it just looks fancy and pretty. Okay, anyways, let's get right in and slice it open. I mean, look at how perfect that is. You can see our caramel layer here, caramel date layer. Then we have our chocolate. So let's go ahead and slice this. Question, do you eat your caramel apple straight off of the stick or do you slice it? I feel like as a kid, I always just ate it right off the stick, but for some reason with this, I like to slice it. Kind of just so you can see too. I mean, how perfect is that? So good, so easy. It was literally just made with the apple, dates, chocolate, and our peanuts. So how many ingredients is that for? 4-ingredient, healthier caramel apple. You don't have to ask me twice. So I'm super excited to try this out. Let's go ahead and do a taste test. I'm gonna do this side so I get extra caramel and chocolate, of course. That is truly, I'm not even just saying this, the best caramel apple I've ever had. And I've had so many caramel apples, like those fancy ones that you get at special grocery stores. And this one is the best, and it's healthy. So this is definitely a must try this fall. Let me know in the comments if you'll give this healthy caramel apple a try.